Pretend you're really into what I'm saying, though. That'd be cool. Just look in, like, admiration. Welcome to Mailroom, a show that takes us girls inside the mind of the opposite sex by going straight to the source. So, is your advice to women to hold out if they want a relationship? Is it just case by case, see how it goes and see how you feel?
Be yourself. You know what I mean? If you feel like that connection is worth you like exploring that sexually, because I mean for me, sex is a big thing. I guess for guys, we're not like all I want is sex. Like no, it's like it's
really?
It's a thing that's
I'm just kidding.
it's a thing that's important in a relationship for me, and for somebody I want to be with, I want it to be important for them too, so we can share that together. And so like if they want to do that themselves and we agree on it, then cool. But some people might want more than my man wants to hold out the first day and have it entice him and be able to figure out personally, like if we can connect, then that's him. It's relative. Like that's cool for you, and I get that. So everybody's different. So.
What about holding out? So for you, do you want a relationship right now, or are you?
Yeah, no, I think I've done enough self-work and have grown enough as an individual for that. So yeah, so I wouldn't be on the apps if I wasn't, you know, or like I'd be sitting at home on a Friday night reading, which was something that actually helped.
Sweet.
Well, like you guys find this funny. They're my friend. Like I read a book on like the concept of validation, which I like didn't really understand as a male until I was like 28. So that was like something I probably should have learned earlier. But like that was something I had to do to like date myself and like learn about that concept, because I think as males you're always like, okay, if you were to present a problem, you're like, yeah, like, okay, well, here's how you fix it, like, you know, X, Y, Z. But that's not what validation is. And I didn't like learn that until the whole reality TV thing. So I think it was like very good for me to kind of reset as an individual, but took the time afterwards. Like, I'm sure you did too, because it's like you go through a very weird experience where like people know every part about your life, and like I'm not used to that. And then you come back and it's normal, but it's not. So it's
Is it harder for dating or better?
Yeah, they think they know.
Is it better or is it harder for dating?
After being on the show?
Yeah.
I think it's been harder. I mean, for me, I found a connection on the show, which I've been exploring, which is cool. And I appreciate that. But if I wasn't so focused on that, I feel like it'd be super hard, because you never know who's really in you for the clout or like for the exposure or what they can see or get out of you, rather than being with you and the person that you are, or actually trying to figure out who you are. So, yeah, I mean, for me, I think it'd be a lot harder, honestly.
And when you're seeking out your perfect lady, do you think men and women can be friends to start? Like, do you think someone in this audience, an old wise person, had said that you could be friends first, get to know someone, and then be even more into them than if you start off the bat with like a one-night stand, or it's physical, or maybe you think of someone differently in that way? What do you think about that theory?
I think it's possible. It's never happened to me though. Why is that funny? I wish it happened to me. I thought this was like a supportive thing. It seems like they were laughing at what I was saying.
Of course not, man.
Yeah, no, I've either been immediately attracted to somebody in a romantic way or friends with them. I've never been. I hear like my girlfriends being like, oh, you know, I met him and like I thought he was ugly when I met him, and I spent more time with him and I was like, oh, that hasn't happened. So I think it's possible, but
you usually know off the bat if you want to date them versus be friends with them.
Well, I'm usually not going into situations being like, I'm looking for another friend.
But you've also never, like in a rom-com, you just like turn to your friend and you're like, oh my God, you've been here all along. I've been going for the hottest girls.
Well, actually, I would say one of my friends is in the audience right there, and I am being
She's
overwhelmed
hot. Look
by
at her
that right now. But no,
But you
hasn't.
would,
But
if you could.
Exactly.
Is that you shooting your shot?
Interpret it as you like. Fair enough.
All right, what about you guys? Can you be friends first, or do you pass on that part?
It depends on the level of friendship. It depends. Like if we like acquaintances and like we're cool and we talking to each other, I feel like that could work. But like if we're like deep friends and you know like too much,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hot.
And that's vice versa. Like if I know too many things about her, I've actually in college I've actually done that, and we were friends first. We like talked about everything, people we've messed with, like likes, dislikes, guys, and stuff like that, and we thought it could work out later. And then like a lot of insecurities came on both sides because we was like, oh, you used to mess with this type of guy, and you're talking to him now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it might be relative to our situation, who we are, but I don't know. Me personally, I don't think that's the best idea, honestly.
I don't really think it's the best approach. I think it's much more important, like, for me, I'm someone who I think I probably tended to pursue people more for looks historically than personality, and focusing on that as like a primary thing. And I think that's led me like not into the best relationships, and that was something that I've only realized recently. And so like I view it more as like it's important to like be able to get to know someone and not make first judgments just like only based on someone's looks alone.
Do you think you can turn that off though? Like,
It's not, I mean, it's not like an automatic thing. I think you're taking a lot of stuff into account. You gave him a nice up down there.
I was trying to get him to move.
Oh.
There was no.
Size of the mug. Yeah, back up.
We'll take that out in
Almost,
post.
yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, I think it's tough, but I think it's one of those things that you have to be aware of. Like, you know, we all have like biases when we look at people for whatever reason. Like, you have to be aware of that because I think it's important, because it's like you never know. Like, okay, someone who could develop to be my best friend, because to me, like, I think that's the most important concept of a relationship. Like that, you're with your best friend. It's like if you're with Pamela Anderson or whatever. Like, if she sucks, well, the whole thing sucks. Like, doesn't matter.
She might not be the best friend.
She might, yeah, she might like just be like a hot friend.
Yeah,
you
she
know?
might save your life on a beach, but
Yeah.
she's probably not going to be like.
I don't like going in the
best
water
listener.
and getting my hair wet, so like
Yeah.
not a problem.
All right, so what would be your ideal date?
Pamela Anderson. No, I'm kidding.
It can be a person or
A person or a
what?
situation?
yeah,
Or either one or both? Or
it's
which one?
optional. It's like a choose your own adventure.
I mean, I'm easy to please, honestly. So like, as long as we chilling, eating, having fun, talking, it doesn't matter. It could be a movie, it could be a picnic, it could be a just riding, driving. Like it could be. I'm super easy to please. I'm not saying that girls are gonna take me out on dates because I don't think that's taboo now. But yeah, if Rihanna came to me, it was like, yo, we just gonna sit in the back of the truck and just eat McDonald's and chill.
You wouldn't turn her down. Yeah.
No. No, I'm not taking that down.
All right, and what about your types? What are your go-to types? Or if you've turned over a new leaf and you have a new type, what do you gravitate to, personality-wise and all of it?
So one ideal date, driving. I think that's I think you can learn so much about someone driving.
Like a kidnapping kind of situation?
Whoa. No. Like I mean, the trunk's not fully separated, so, you know, she can get full access to air and everything. I'm not an animal. It's a Chevy Suburban. That joke hit for half the audience, so that was fine.
I got it.
That's better than usual.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, thank you. No, but I think on a drive, you can learn so much about someone that you normally, you know, can't just, like, it's like, all right, do you like Taylor Swift? Like, whatever. You see how someone responds to music, all these things, you talk about stuff, you see different things. So that would be ideal. And then as to your second question, can you be a little bit more specific with it? Like, what exactly?
Yeah, like what do you gravitate to when you're meeting someone new, or if you're giving?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I think like charisma is like the biggest one. It's like if someone has energy, because like for me, like I think, you know, like you wake up every day, you never know, like that's gonna be your last or whatever. It's important to live your whole life kind of 100%, right? So like I think a lot of people are like, you know, it's easy to complain in life, and like I like grew up in a military family, so I was never allowed to complain, and I think that's something that's like permeated my life for better or for worse. But I just think it's always very important to embrace the positive and like wake up every morning excited. And so just when someone has like a natural energy, I think that's like a very attractive and exciting thing.
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely agree. That confidence, that swag, that just I don't know, like that boss lady, like I'm a standout in the room type of woman. That's what I'm attracted to. Cause physically, I'm just everywhere. Like all of my exes, they look completely different. So physically, I just beauty in general is what I'm attracted to. So it's more of the personality, how you carry yourself.
Do you like a boss, or do you like a troubled,
Mid-level.
like someone you can help that's sad and like needy? Because to be honest, I mean, a lot of you guys like the fixer-uppers, so you can like help them,
yeah,
you know,
but
and
you
sometimes
like-
the boss is too much of a boss.
I think
I don't
liking a
wanna-
fixer-upper has more to do with the liker than the likey.
do
You
you
might
like,
elaborate for that.
what do
Well,
you
I
like?
mean, what,
To elaborate
it's
for
like
that.
you have like
It's like house
like
hunters.
you can only feel valuable if you're helping somebody get better at something, and that's not real attraction. That's just like kind of a personality disorder, I would say. Okay, well, let's put a disclaimer. This is not medical advice, but I mean, no, it's never been like I'm sure to some extent, like everybody has like a predisposition for like the white knight syndrome. I'm gonna save them from whatever is ailing them. But on the flip side of that, knowing who you are, and it doesn't matter what that looks like or how that manifests itself, but like the supreme kind of like sense of I know who I am and this is the way that I operate, that's much more appealing to me than a project, because it usually, I think, is like seeing potential is like what I think somebody could be rather than who they are, and that's based on experience, not a long-term predictor of success.
For me, I like how
deep.
you use fixer.
I don't even know what you just
fixer
said.
upper.
Yeah, neither did I. I blacked out.
Okay, so last question, and then we'll get to the last segment. So, sex on the first date, deal maker or deal breaker?
But I think
Speechless.
anyone's gonna try, right? You know. I don't know.
Yes, sure.
But like, I don't think it's a deal maker. I think it's just you see how it's like. I feel like if anyone who has a binary answer to that, you probably shouldn't be walking around free. But like.
Yes.
I can't call it a deal breaker, but I can't call it a deal maker either. Like,
It's in the gray area.
it is. It really is. Because, like, we can have sex on the first date, but our connection could not be there later. So it's like, the sex didn't make anything. It was just
So it's not a
something that
factor.
happened. It's not. It's not really. Well,
Oh.
I want to say it's not a factor. I want to say it's not. It's what's going to keep us there for a little bit, but not a long
night,
time.
but not the
For not the
morning.
long run, honestly.
Do you guys let
That was
girls
a-
sleep
that was a
over?
good comment.
Do
Yeah.
gir-
What's that?
Do you let girls sleep over?
What do you mean? Like stay
Well,
at
we
stay
are-
Like,
at
do they
home?
stay?
In this theoretical situation, is there sex involved? Then like.
Okay, how about this? If you know that the girl is not a keeper, will you
Actually,
like have breakfast with
can
her?
I just say like a thing? When people wear a lot of makeup and you have white sheets, it's like so, and you know what I mean? It's just like, I know what you like. Most guys don't care about makeup. Like it's like,
And the
just be
towels
yourself.
too. The white towels. Yeah.
I'm laughing because I.
So that's like
Yeah, you got to get OxyClean Revive. I'm not paid for that.
I just get darker sheets.
okay. So no
Just watch.
sleepover and no breakfast
It
from
doesn't
you
stain as much.
if she's
I don't
wearing
eat
makeup.
breakfast personally, so
Oh, okay. So you're
I think
set.
intermittent fasting.
Are
Yeah,
you
I'm big
like-
lunch, dinner guy.
Okay,
Yeah.
so are you basically like, hey girl, like I want you to stay, but I gotta work out in the morning and I don't eat breakfast, so you should probably
I don't know if
come.
I would have that full of a conversation beforehand. It would be more like 5:30. Be like, I gotta go to the gym. Do you want to come? And they'd be like, no. I also don't sleep with my blinds down, which apparently is people like that. Like I like the natural sunrise. So
Yeah, that's a good technique to not have someone stay, I think.
Depends
You
on.
blast
I would say depends on who. Well, first of all, actually, no, it doesn't depend. Actually, let me take that back. Rewind that from the. like the idea in my head of being like, you gotta go. Like, do you have Uber on your phone? Like,
Or you're like, I'll get you an Uber.
that's horrible.
I would
That's
be
horrible.
so much more pained by my own awkwardness in that situation than like potentially losing an hour or whatever of sleep. That's never happening.
Yeah, you can't
never really
like
had that.
bring her over or have sex with her and then be like, you gotta leave. Like
But a lot of
that's
times,
said
also,
sex.
she wants to leave. Like,
Well,
if it's not
then
enjoyable,
it's like, okay, I'm sorry.
yeah, then
You
she
know?
can also make her move.
I don't know what
Really?
that's like.
You couldn't
Me
relate,
either.
but
Can
maybe some
relate.
of your friends or something.
Maybe Nolan could. Sorry, that was funny. It's my friend Nolan, everyone.
All right, so this is our most consensual part of the show called Just the Tips. So we're gonna have you guys go around and give your one tip to all the ladies of the world. Like a PSA.
Is like my mother included in that too?
Let's not actually
Yeah,
include your mom.
it's a lot-
This
not
is more
all.
for like your friends, your
Okay,
sister,
got it, yeah.
distant cousin. Yeah,
I think
any
you
girls.
want to go
you know.
first?
Yeah, sure. I would say, well, you heard some of my,
Yes, we did.
material
We
earlier.
definitely did.
I would say my tip is, first of all, don't take tips from everybody. It's always a case-by-case basis, and I think like a lot of the weird things that we encounter are a function of like reading about or talking about like what's normal, like what happens on the first day, what happens on the second day, what happens on the third day. And like it's always a relative thing. It's always about like the personal interaction. And the corollary of that, I would say, is like, it's related, I would say, meet us halfway. Because I think like in my personal experience, especially in the like last couple of years, like I constantly find myself in a situation where even if the woman on the other end is like interested, it's like I don't get a text back unless I specifically ask a question. So, or I don't, there's no date unless I am like very detailed about this is gonna happen then. And as like the person in that situation, like if you're thinking about sending a text, send it. If you're thinking like you wanna go on a second date, ask me. Because if it's a thing that's gonna work out, I'm gonna appreciate that rather than be like persuaded one way or the other by breaking some like girl code rule about how you behave,
Okay, so the girl can make the second move. Like if you don't ask a
Totally.
question or you don't ask her out again, she should do
Please.
that. But
Yeah.
why aren't you asking her out again?
It's not that I'm not. It's like, well, first of all, for the question thing, nobody wants to be interrogated. I don't want to be the one doing that either. It's like, but it seems to be that that's often the way things go. The second date thing, like, why am I not the one? Well, it's just like a timing mismatch. Like maybe that's my intention as it is, but like if you feel so inclined before I do, ask away.
Got it. Cinco.
I would say for me, my tip would be to be self-reflective and be open-minded. I feel like in my personal experience, I've encountered like a lot of people who are not open-minded situations and like themselves or what they can work on themselves. It's always putting blame on other people or finding something wrong with other persons. And I feel like you kind of miss out on what people are actually trying to show you in themselves if you do that. And so yeah, just being open-minded and just reflecting on yourself and why things don't work and trying to fix things within yourself first before putting yourself in another situation.
Oh, thanks. Mark.
I think kind of a combination of both of those tips, which were both great tips, would be, one, I think, like the older we get, you kind of, I think like life has a way of like beating people down, like people's self-esteem kind of goes down the road. And I think for women, it's probably a lot harder than it is to be a male. I think like as a male, you're just generally more like or less rather self-aware. And it's not as like tough with Instagram or other things like that. But I think like maintaining your self-confidence and just like, you know, not kind of sweating when a relationship went bad or whatever, and like just allowing yourself to continue to be the person that you were, I think is something that's very attractive to people. I think, you know, a lot of people are affected by like previous relationships, but if you just kind of, you know, do the work to get past that and allow that not to dictate what your future is, it's something that's very beneficial, especially kind of like the old, like I know that like that's the thing for me too, which is why I'm saying that, but I think that's true for everyone. It just affects women more. And I think the other thing too is I would say men are not always aware of what they're doing or the effect that it may have. So like for the point you were making, you know, like we just don't fucking know sometimes. Like sometimes like if a girl is interested, if she's not like direct, like I'm not gonna notice. Like I need it to be more direct than someone thinks. But I also think that's true in a situation where someone feels uncomfortable. Like tell your male friend who you know, like be like, yeah, this guy's making me uncomfortable. And then maybe the guy's like, I don't get it, whatever. But I think it's just important to communicate, you know, with men in a way different probably than people are taught or, you know, normally think, because we're not as intelligent as we come across, so.
Well, thank you guys so much for being on Mailroom. And ladies, we have a lot more mail to go through next time. See you then.